So they would have been down there in their tweeds and long woolen stockings and felt hats in 40-degree heat, sawing logs. Crazy, crazy.
And the cement would have been used to join these very big, heavy bad boys. Together they weigh so much. They don't look like they weigh much. Victoria settlement. It's about 6. So that looks like the beginning of the track, and the actual settlement we think is around here, sort of up on that headland over there. Here we are, Victoria settlement, 3.7 kilometres.
Nice easy walk.
Yeah. Namesake of your fan.
Yeah, I know.
Honky.
Yeah, or gum nut.
Yeah. This is the magazine. Buried into the hill. Well, it's not buried into the hill, is it? It's just short. Oh, yes, it is. How deep is it? You like a troll in there, babe?
Yeah, this is the magazine. And this is where they stored all the gunpowder and all the explosive stuff. And now it's just home to millions of mud wasps. And a bit of graffiti here. F.R. Michael's 1st Cavalry Tort Regiment. Jay Leno is here. 1940, RAA, 1940, 1958, 1960. Oh, that one, he must have been a doctor. You can't read his writing. 1853. No, 1953. Yeah. So pretty cool. And it's still there's 200 years, so it's lasted well. They put a new tread in and a bit of point work here and there, but otherwise good. But there's mosquitoes in here, so I'm getting out.
Okay. Right. This This is how close to the edge it is.
Yeah. Well, it has to be away from the main camp, of course.
How about this for a sandwich chair? Well, it's not actually strictly a sandwich chair. It's more like a sandwich table, but not a bad view.
Whoa.
So just a drop off. We're on the cliff, aren't we?
It's straight down there.
Ooh. I don't know if I want to get near the edge of that. I'll just put you guys over the edge. Oh, can't quite get you over. Oh, there you go. You can see there. Pretty steep. Nutshell is there.
Yeah.
Right out there.
They would have stood here in the 1820s. No, when was it built? Yeah, 20s. And watch the ships coming in from the outer harbour through. Now this is what they call the inner harbour.
Sweet. These are the married quarters. So they were done like what, Cornish cottages, weren't they?
Always amazed, why can't they build the rest of the building as strong as the fireplace?
Because it's all timber.
I know.
Oh. Oh, okay. I think they might have put some of them back together a bit. Yeah, down there, look. Oh, maybe I will have some rid now. So it looks like they've rebuilt this one a bit, but let that one go. Well, a little bit of mortar in there. So we're going to put Mavi up and see what we can see.
So there's bricks here.
Yep.
These bricks were actually made here on site. I can't remember how a stonemason or brickmaker ended up here, but he did, and they built a brick kiln, found a source of clay, and actually produced these bricks right here in situ. And that's half a brick, and that's heavy. That's a solid brick. You can see the base. This is all a wooden structure, of course. With that would have been the hearth over there, and I don't know why they needed all these fires for cooking, I suppose. But in a quartermaster store, I don't know, unless you lived here as well. And you can see the footings for the uprights, foundations of the floors. Timber was all cut locally. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
What's this one, do you know?
Yeah, this fella definitely needed a fire, and it wasn't to cook his bacon and eggs on a Sunday morning while listening to Macca. It was because he's a blacksmith. So this is where the hinges were made, and nails, and all manner of assortments. He wouldn't be shearing many horses, because they didn't, well, all their horses in the end went wild and they let him go. Yeah, so this is where all manner of steelwork was made. This is where the jetty was. You can see the faint outline of rocks that are left there. And around this side, with beautiful white cliffs.
Back up the hill. This is the well.
Well, well, well.
Yep.
Usually you can tell where water is. A couple of dead giveaways. Behind there you can see all the melaleuca, which is a paper bark, and also pandanus here. So generally will tell you that there's water around. Even though we're quite high up on a bit of a rise here, and salt water's just there. We've got fresh water here.
Another well. Oh, that's interesting.
It's a saw pit.
Oh, it's not a well. Okay.
No, saw pit. Where they made all the boards and planks and timbers. Would have hauled them here, and this blazing heat, wearing their tweeds, they would have, and their long woolen stockings, they would have cut the boards. It was amazing what they wore here. I mean, I'm standing here in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and the sun's just come up. It would already be pushing 30 plus, and humidity of around 100%, and we're only in October. In January it would be stifling. Part of the reason why the settlement didn't work was it was 15 miles inshore, so no real good sea breezes here. A whole host of reasons why it only lasted the 11 years.
And which 11 years were those?
38 to 49, 1838 to 1849. I think I said 1820s back there, I meant to say 1830s. But there were a whole host of reasons why. Like here's cicadas. Beautiful sound, they get so loud. Cicadas, some people say. Tomatoes. What was I talking about? Yeah, the reasons they left. Sickness was a big one. No one came to visit. You know what it's like, you're sitting at home waiting for mates to come over and no one drops over for a beer. So no one came to visit. The trading port, they hoped this would be the Singapore of Australia's north. But no one came. No Macassan traders came. No one came to trade. So they built all this infrastructure. This was their third attempt at a settlement. They would go on to have about 40 attempts at settling the north until finally they settled where town is now, Palmerston, Darwin. But yeah, there are a whole host of reasons why it didn't work out here. It was just Philip Parker King found the place during his surveys in 1818, and he thought it would be ideal. And yes, it does look ideal. It looks absolutely perfect, but it's just so far inland. There was water, but it wasn't. Wasn't a lot of water, so they couldn't really farm as much as they wanted. But Philip Parker King found the place while he was chuffing around here in the Mermaid. We've been following his journeys since we left Eerie Beach. Actually, it's I've got his logs and a couple of books on board. As you know, I've been talking about him quite a bit. But yeah, so they would have been down there in their tweeds and long woolen stockings and felt hats in 40-degree heat, sawing logs. Crazy.
This is the hospital.
Wow.
That's stunning.
So this is the hospital here at Victoria Settlement in Port Essington, and it looks big. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms down here. You've got the two rooms up there. But you think, where were all the people going to come from to go in the hospital? But at times, this hospital was chockers, so full, it was overcrowded. And that was just with people from the Garrison. just people here that were ill. So many a time this hospital was overflowing with patients just from the local people, because illness just kept coming to this place. And that's one of the main reasons they couldn't survive, is because when half the garrison was in hospital and half the workers were in hospital, there was no one tending the paddocks to grow the vegetables, and then they ended up getting scurvy. It all got pretty bad. So once scurvy sets in and they didn't have any fresh fruit and vegetables to eat, even though you can grow anything in this country, it's just unbelievable. And they did have enough water to grow for themselves. And there's also, if they only listen to the local indigenous Aboriginals, there's so much food here you can eat, bush tucker, both in the sea and on land. And the Aboriginals are proof of it. They've survived here for 50,000 years. And us white fellas couldn't do it for 11. So yeah, they had everything here, but they just didn't know how to harness it, and they were incorrectly prepared for it. And they thought they were better. They didn't accept the knowledge. So it's pretty sad in a way, because it would have been a beautiful place. This harbour's a lot nicer than Darwin Harbour. Yeah, it would have been fantastic. You can imagine a city growing up around from here, growing up around this beautiful big harbour. Two harbours, in fact. You've got the outer harbour on that side, and then you've got where it clinches into this inner harbour. And the tides here are nowhere near as bad as in Darwin. Yeah, it would have been a fantastic place to settle, if only they had listened. Now that I'm up here and I've read the plaque on the floor, I actually know what this is. So that was a hospital down there, they're the 4 wards, full of beds, and this was the kitchen for the hospital. So this was a hospital kitchen, hence the massive, there's a bread making oven in there, and there's a normal place for a normal oven. And I hear you all asking, why? Why did the British want to settle Northern Australia? The rules, there was international rules set up back in those days, where if you wanted to claim a country or claim some land, either Dutch, Portuguese, Spanish, English, French, if you wanted to claim something, you have to settle it. You can't just go and stick your flag in a lump of dirt and say this is mine and not do anything. They had already established a settlement in Port Jackson, Sydney. They'd already established a settlement in Tasmania. But there was massive pressure at the time in Northern Australia. The French were snooping around. They wanted the joint. The Dutch, even though the Dutch was there at that time, the Dutch powers were sort of decreasing a bit throughout the world, they still wanted this place. Even the Americans, United States of America, wanted Northern Australia. The Japanese came here and didn't want it, and then of course in 47 they tried to take it forcefully. But so all these countries wanted Northern Australia. So the Admiralty sent people like King, Sterling, and a host of other people to come up here, map it, and settle it, and just so that no one else would take it. And that's why they kept attempting these settlements. Later on, when we get to the Kimberley, we'll go to another early settlement, which also failed. But that's the reason why they made these places, because to claim Northern Australia as part of England or Britain or whatever it was called back then. I get confused between England, the British Isles, Britain. But anyway, England I think tried to claim it. They had to establish it. And so that's what all this was about. And I just remembered something that back in the 1600s, before Lieutenant Cook had even sailed up the east coast of Australia, the French had already put their flag in the ground and claimed Australia, as had the Dutch even before that in Western Australia. They had, both those countries had stuck their flag into terra firma here and claimed it for their countries, but because they didn't establish settlements, it wasn't a bona fide claim. So there you go. And for any of you that come here in the future, you actually get phone reception here, Victoria Settlement. Wendy was just walking along and the phone rang. So isn't that amazing? There's a Aboriginal community at Croker Island, which is a long, long way away, and you still get phone reception here at Victoria. If only they had it when they established the joint, they could have called home at least and FaceTimed. Wouldn't have been so lonely. Yeah, amazing, eh?
Check out this termite nest.
This was where they had a gun emplacement. Could be the most logical place, as it's got the best view north for any ships coming in. So yeah, this is where they established their first line of defence.
This is the kiln. Wow, it's big.
Yeah, it's a lime kiln. Oh no, this is the quartermaster store.
Okay, this is not the kiln. This is the quartermaster store.
This is the other quartermaster store.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the bricks.
His shelves are bare. You can see here the outline of the post, the round post that was embedded in the wall there. And that, does anyone know what that is?
I can guess.
What is it, Wen?
It's a very large turkey nest.
It's a scrub turkey nest.
Oh, it is. That was a guess. It's very big.
Yeah. They're amazing, those animals.
Here's a for your safety rail. Very typical in Australia.
Yeah, they've always got safety rails.
And, whoa. Quite a deep well by the looks of it.
This here is the officers' mess. So where all the bigwigs came for have their tucker.
This is the lime kiln that was used, would have been used to make cement way back then, nearly, what, over 200 years ago?
No, not quite.
All right, a while ago. And the cement would have been used to join these very big, heavy bad boys together. They weigh so much. They don't look like they weigh much.
The heavy bricks.
They weigh twice, more than twice, and they're different size. They may not be your London.
No, they're not London Common.
Your London Commons. Yeah.
This is the cemetery here at Port Essington, and sacred to the memory of Captain Crawford, 47th Regiment, Hobart, died Port Essington, 1838. And there's a few others here. There's a You got to remember that half the garrison here, they died from malaria. So that's 50% of the population all died from malaria. And I think, did you say when that plague?
Yeah, I think the
bubonic plague was here. Cyclones, yeah. Yeah, it was a hard place. So we just remember a little bit, I think.